Welcome to today's deep dive. Whenever you receive an invitation to a major social gathering like a wedding reception or a corporate gala, there's always this built-in assumption about how your evening is going to play out.
Oh, totally. The structure is practically etched in stone at this point.
Right. You arrive, you endure the cocktail hour, you find your assigned table, and then, you just sit down and wait for the evening to happen to you.
You're just kind of stuck there.
Exactly. I mean, think about the physical reality of that traditional setup. It's remarkably similar to being trapped on a commercial flight.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Yeah, because your movement is completely restricted. You're anchored to this specific chair, staring at the exact same floral centerpiece for 3 hours.
And you're essentially forced into conversation with whoever happens to be seated next to you.
Right, you're stuck talking to the guy in row 14B while you just wait for the catering staff to roll the meal cart down the aisle.
It's so true. The logistics of a traditional sit-down dinner completely dictate the social interaction of the whole evening.
They really do.
Historically, a formal, multi-course plated dinner was considered the ultimate signal of elegance and wealth. The logic was that true luxury meant you didn't have to lift a finger.
Everything was brought to you.
Exactly, in this highly choreographed sequence. But that extreme level of control comes at a massive cost to the actual energy of the room.
Because everyone is just sitting.
Right.
Yeah.
When you force 100 or 200 people into chairs, you create a static environment. The guests become an audience rather than, active participants.
Well, that perfectly sets up what we are unpacking today. We've got this fascinating trend report from the wedding planning platform Weddizer.
Looking ahead to the 2026 season.
Right, and they are tracking a massive structural shift away from that commercial flight model we just talked about.
A total departure.
The catering industry is completely rethinking how human beings actually want to interact in a celebratory space. So whether you are planning an event, attending one this year, or you're just, fascinated by the hidden social engineering of large gatherings, this document is incredibly revealing.
It really is a masterclass in behavioral design.
Because the alternative to the commercial flight is, basically, an open-world video game. The trend Weddizer is highlighting is an absolute explosion of handheld bites and dynamic finger foods.
Total autonomy.
Exactly. In this model, you explore the map of the venue at your own pace, you initiate conversations with whoever you want, and you dictate your own consumption.
The Weddizer document frames this as a deliberate shift toward prioritizing experiences over formality. Modern hosts are recognizing that the primary friction points of any large event are always logistical bottlenecks.
Oh, like the buffet line.
Yes,
Yeah.
buffet lines that stretch out the door. Or that awkward waiting period between the salad course and the main entree.
The physical congestion around a stationary bar is the worst.
Right. So by decentralizing the food and moving strictly to a handheld roaming model, you dissolve those bottlenecks.
The environment bends to accommodate the people.
Exactly. A guest can seamlessly drift from the dance floor to an outdoor terrace, keeping up a conversation the entire time without ever having to return to a home base to eat.
But giving people the freedom to just roam the cabin like that creates a totally new physical challenge for the kitchen.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if the core objective is uninhibited socializing, the food itself has to undergo a structural transformation to keep up. I mean, picture yourself standing in a garden having an intense catch-up with an old college roommate.
Drink in hand, of course.
Always. But if a waiter approaches with a traditional plate of chicken cordon bleu, you physically cannot consume it without putting your drink down, finding a flat surface, and picking up a knife and fork.
The momentum of the interaction is instantly destroyed.
Poof.
Gone. Which is why the structural integrity of the food becomes just as important as the flavor profile. The Weddizer report outlines how caterers are engineering menus to fit entirely into a pint-sized, single-handed format.
Right, the architecture of the appetizer has to be flawless.
Take the mini sliders they highlight: Wagyu beef, pulled pork, or plant-based mushroom patties. The bun must be soft enough that the contents don't squeeze out the back when you take a bite.
Because we've all been there.
Right, but firm enough to hold the juices. It is literally high-end dining subjected to a rigorous miniaturization process.
The document lists several of these structural categories, actually. They detail skewers and mini tacos, utilizing fillings like slow-cooked beef, Cajun shrimp, jackfruit.
They break down bite-sized pastries, too, like spinach puffs and miniature quiches.
Yeah, and they highlight a category they call elegant canapés, which includes smoked salmon with cream cheese, goat cheese, and beetroot pairings, and avocado tartlets.
Beautiful stuff.
It is, the culinary variety is expensive, but looking at this from the perspective of a guest, I see a glaring issue here.
Okay, what's that?
A single caprese skewer and an avocado tartlet do not constitute a meal.
No, they don't.
So if the entire evening relies on these micro portions, aren't you just creating a scenario where guests are perpetually hungry, awkwardly stalking circulating waiters around the perimeter of the room just to cobble together a decent dinner?
You are describing the exact nightmare scenario that early iterations of cocktail hours suffered from.
Where demand massively outpaced supply.
Exactly. But the modern catering industry has solved this through a concept Weddizer calls the golden rule of bite-sized portions.
The golden rule.
Right, it seems counterintuitive, but the solution to guest hunger isn't larger appetizers. It is strictly enforcing the 1 to 2 bite maximum.
Wait, how does keeping it smaller help with hunger?
Because if an item takes 3 bites, a guest is left holding a crumbling, half-eaten piece of food, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Which makes them hesitate to grab another item from the next tray. By keeping the intake rapid and clean, guests can actually consume a higher volume over a shorter period.
Oh, I see. But that still requires the guest to actually get their hands on the food. If I have to hunt down a tray, the whole system fails.
Well, the waiters are not randomly wandering the room. They are deployed on a highly strategic grid.
A grid, like zones.
Exactly. Professional caterers map the venue and assign staff to specific zones, heavily saturating the areas immediately following a ceremony or a speech.
So the food comes to you.
Relentlessly.
Yeah.
The Weddizer strategy relies on a continuous, overwhelming flow of mobile trays. This eliminates the dreaded buffet line, but more importantly, it protects the flow of the event.
So you grab a mini taco, eat it in one bite, and just keep talking.
Or smile for a candid photograph without skipping a beat. The kitchen is essentially drip-feeding a full multi-course meal to 200 people simultaneously while they are in motion.
That is wild.
Hmm.
But saturating a room with circulating trays introduces a secondary logistical headache, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, when you have dozens of different miniature items floating around a crowded room in real time, how do you prevent total flavor chaos?
Oh,
If I grab a teriyaki beef skewer, followed immediately by a miniature quiche, and then a Cajun shrimp taco, the culinary experience is going to be incredibly disjointed.
yeah, it would be a mess.
There has to be a limiting principle to what is actually leaving the kitchen.
And there is. The Weddizer document provides the exact mathematical formula that caterers use to prevent that kind of palate fatigue.
A mathematical formula.
Yeah. Planning a successful